Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Adam Hills and Ed Byrne, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Prime Minister with two of his cabinet colleagues. But what does CAFS stand for?
Is it George Osborne's middle names? Crepuscular Addendum Fandango Sousaphone?
Is it couldn't arrange a fondle in a strip club?
Cocky, aristocratic, foppish and smug.
Could it be Charlie's Angels, the failed sequel?
Is it Cruising Area for Sex?
Is it, in fact, from left to right, clueless, albino face, slaphead?
That's just abuse, by the way, you're applauding there. That's not actual satire, that is just being rude about them.
Is Cameron simply saying, crikey, a fox, splendid?
It's written all over the toilets here. Is it Chris Addison Fancy Stewart?
Okay, I'm going to move towards the correct answer, please.
OK, is it Cameron apologises for sexism?
Yes, it is. Well done, thank you very much. Cheers. There you go. Yes, the answer I was looking for is Cameron apologises for sexism. This is the news that Prime Minister David Cameron has apologised for a number of remarks he made in the House of Commons that were interpreted as being sexist. Speaking on the eve of the Conservative Party conference, he said he screwed up over his comments and must do better. The apology is seen as a way for Cameron to attempt to woo back female voters. Now, do we know what the incidents were?
Yes, yeah. What he did was he said, apparently, to one of the MPs in the House, he said, calm down, dear.
Yes.
Now, that is a sad thing when you've got to basically impersonate Michael Winner.
Meanwhile, George Osborne's behind him going, all we need to do is stimulate the European meerkat. He said he's apologised for them, hasn't he? And he's actually said now to woo women voters that he doesn't regard women as beneath him. He doesn't want them to do menial jobs like, you know, making tea, because he's got Nick Clegg to do that for him. So there's England.
Yeah, he apologised later in an interview with the Sunday Times, it was, by claiming that, and these are his exact words, I'm not that kind of, I'm not sort of one of the lads, actually, you know, one of my best friends. When I go out, it's always, no, I'm not explaining this properly. Even the fact that one of his best friends may have been a woman until he actually totted it up his head and went, no, I can't back that up.
As the closest thing to a woman on this panel, Chris, is what Cameron said offensive?
Well, speaking for the sisterhood.
Cameron talked about his problems with women to Andrew Marr. Now, there is a man, yes, understand that, a man who took out a super injunction to try and prevent people talking about the fact he was having a fling with a journalist. And you're thinking, if you're going to have an affair, don't have it with somebody who writes for a living. Have it with Wayne Rooney. He is never going to get it right about it. You think Rooney has days when he's got to write down his own name, he has to check the back of his shirt, and even then he writes down 10.
You know, there was another comment that he made to the MP Peter Bone, who has apparently a tendency to ask questions referring to his wife, and saying, oh, well, this would certainly make Mrs Bone, you know, and would use her as every woman, I think, in the questions. But he referred to it once after he asked some questions, says, Cameron said, I do feel now that a very big part of my life is trying to give pleasure to Mrs Bone. I feel on this occasion I can only go so far.
Mr. Bone has a point.
I tried to look this up, so I googled Peter Bone's wife, and I didn't get anything done for the next 2 hours.
It does sound like a child's pornography book, doesn't it? Like see Peter's wife, Peter Bone's wife.
He also said, there's a quote from Cameron, I'm aware women are not as supportive of the coalition as others. Now, who are these others? He means men! He can't even be bothered to call us people, can he?
Moving on, what did Cameron say in all these interviews that the British were very good at?
Inventing.
Inventing, yes.
Yeah.
He suggested-
A quote, an actual quote from him was, "We invented the jet engine, DNA, the worldwide web." And you know, I don't know what we used to do before you invented DNA here.
What he doesn't realise is, in Australia, the DNA spirals the opposite direction.
Well, then don't you just refer to it as and?
It's also worth remembering you can invent something and not be good at it. Do you know what I mean? Like Britain also invented rugby and cricket.
Yes, who did win the last two Ashes?
Yes. Please. We are not going to have any of that childish name-calling from an Australian.
Oh, if this was about the hurling, you'd be all over this shit.
I was actually going to point out that Ireland beat Australia, but, you know, what the hell.
Listen, I would just like to mention that I was out there for the cricket over the winter, very enjoyable. And nothing better than hearing the Barmy Army sing to the Australian fans, "Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over you." And follow it up with, "Your next queen is Camilla Parker Bowles." Camilla Parker Bowles, Camilla Parker Bowles.
You very much brought that on yourself. Who might George Osborne have offended during his speech?
Eric Pickles, I think.
Eric Pickles, yes, apparently... All right, it's not a great photograph of poor Eric Pickles, but he's beginning apparently...
Find a great photograph of Eric Pickles.
Mr. Pickles.
He's so Dickensian. He's in every photograph he's more like, good evening, Eric Pickles here. You shall work on Christmas Day. You should be glad of it. Have some coal, that's all you're getting.
You must expect him to lift up the hat and a lip...
It's odd that he's always referred to as Eric Pickles. He's never referred to as Mr. Pickles. And that is possibly because Mr. Pickles makes him sound like a cat.
One of those overweight cats that has to back itself into a corner to clean itself.
Moving on, please, moving on. What is happening to the traditional police station? What was announced this week?
It's closing.
Well, no, they're not
Well, they're not
closing.
all closed. They're
You make
closing
it sound
the
like there's
public-
one. There's one traditional police station, and we've decided to close it.
Yeah,
They're closing...
it was planned as if they were getting rid of all the police. They're getting rid of the public counter, the place you go to get your passport photograph signed, whatever it is. Now you phone up and you use the automated phone system. Well, I don't know to what extent. It's not like phoning for cinema tickets. It's not like they're going to go, "Did you say London?"
You're being stabbed, press 2.
Did you say there was a bugler in your house? No, not a bugler. If there is a bugler in your house, tell him to stop bugling. Bugling loudly in a house after 11 o'clock is an offence, and you may be arrested by the police. All right, send them!
Basically, they should do with the police stations what they did with the post offices and just put them in branches of W.H. Smith. The officer will say to you, "Thank you very much for reporting this murder, ma'am. Just before you go, would you like a massive dairy milk for £1?"
The grey area between what is an emergency and what is not an emergency.
Are you going, "Ah, ah!" Emergency?
Yeah.
No, not emergency.
Are you speaking really quietly because there's somebody in the house?
Yeah.
And you're like...
I'm being attacked by the man from Lurpak Better.
Yeah, that would be really weird as the guy from the Lurpak Butter attack, yeah.
You need to put him in a
I
glass.
think I can hold him off as long as until the heating kicks in. But what I think they're going to wake up and go, "Is this a non-emergency number?" "Yes." He said, "There's been a burglary in my house." "Oh, why is it not an emergency?" "I shot him." "So take your time." He's not going anywhere. OK, then that round, the point's going to Ed, Adam and Andy. Now we play a round called Thinking Outside the Mocks. This game involves Stuart, Ed and Adam, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is... Kids, who wants to come in with that?
Ah, sweet.
Ebra.
Sorted. Know about this now. Ah, yes, kids. I became a dad 9 months ago. And I haven't let it change my life completely. And that, well, the one thing I'm worried about is I don't want to be one of those people who prefaces a statement with the phrase, speaking as a parent. Speaking as a parent. Gather round, everyone. He's speaking as a parent now. Quick, come in. No, bring in the people from the other room. He's speaking as a parent. No, he was only speaking as an arsehole before. Now he's speaking as a parent. Yes, oh, sage one, speak. Tell us your wisdom. Impart your knowledge. Speaking as a parent. Doesn't it make you want to stab them as a maniac? Because the thing is, you read the books. There's loads of books you can buy on being a parent. That's why, there's millions of books, in fact. That's why I get really annoyed when people use that excuse for their bad parenting. They always come, oh, well, you know, kids, they don't come with an instruction manual, do they? No. You have to buy one. They're like £7. But the books, one thing the books warned me about, it hasn't turned out to be a problem. Books warn me that, that sometimes the man can become jealous of the affection the woman gives the child. I've not had... The only issue I've had in that direction is that when I burp, I get frowned at, and when he does it, he gets a round of applause. That's not fair. So why is his wind so much more important and exciting than mine? My wife has spent anything up to an hour trying to get wind out of him. Will she pull my finger? No, she will not.
Thank you very much, Jack. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is travel. Who is coming out? Adam.
Yeah. I'd like to say something, and in particular because Stuart Francis is here, I love Canada. I love Canada. Because Canadians are normally the politest, quietest people on the planet. The first time I went to Canada, I went to Toronto. And in Toronto, they had, at that point, the world's tallest tower, and they were half an hour from Niagara Falls. Not one person boasted about it. If I'd landed in an American city with the world's tallest tower, it would have been, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Boston, home of the world's tallest building! The only reason I knew it was in Canada was that I went to the hotel reception and went, oh, what should I do today? And the guy went, oh, maybe check out the CN Tower. Oh, really? Why's that? Oh, no reason. I just think you might like it. I got to the top, and it wasn't even a big thing. It was just a little plaque that went, CN Tower, world's tallest building. And I went back to him that night and went, it's the world's tallest building. And he went, oh, yeah, that's right. I thought you might like it. How do you feel about waterfalls? The thing I love the most about Canada, though, is that they have Braille on their banknotes. I don't know if you know that. All Canadian money has Braille on it, so the blind people know how much money they're giving over at any given point in time. What an amazing country. They're bilingual, they have same-sex marriages, and they have Braille on their banknotes. Canada is the only place in the world in which two blind French lesbians can get married and pay for it in cash.
Thank you very much, I've OK, that leaves us with Stuart. Let's see what topic you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. It's romance.
That was terrific, by the way, Adam.
Oh, thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Ladies, in bed, I like to spoon. Anybody else do heroin? Am I guilty of being romantic? You be the judge. A bottle of champagne on ice, the dulcet voice of Luther Vandross fills the air. A trail of rose petals lead to a bed on which I'm lying naked. Bedroom door slowly opens and I whisper those three special words. Happy birthday, Dad. When women see me naked, they say I look like a Greek god. Hermaphrodite? What's he? I like my women the way I like my skis, rented.